Hey, this is Dylan Andrews with eartrainingforguitar.com, and in this video I want to go in depth on intervals and exactly how to find them on the guitar. Intervals are just the distance from one note to another. One way you can think about it is it's like our musical measuring tape, okay? Because it's just distances. If I say it's a second interval, that is telling you a specific distance from the root. If it's a third interval, that's another specific distance. And one problem that a lot of people have is being able to find where these intervals are on the guitar. So I want to go through every single interval and show you exactly where they would be on every single string. The first interval is going to be the second, and this is an easy one. A second interval is going to be 2 frets from the roots. So if I'm in the key of G, a 2 is going to be up 2 frets. So I just find a G, and there's a 2. I find another G, there's a 2. I find another G, there's the 2, there's the 2, there's the 2, there's the 2. Now, the 2 is always going to be 2 frets from the root. So if I'm in the key of A, well, I'd find an A. I go up 2 frets, there's a 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So a second interval is always 2 frets away. Now, I'm not going to talk about flats just yet. I will in a moment, and you'll see exactly why that is. Now, let's go through the third interval. Now, the third interval is a whole step from the second interval. Okay? So, or 2 whole steps from the root. Whole step meaning 2 frets. Half step is 1 fret. So, if I'm in the key of G, then a 3 is going to be 2 whole steps up, right? Or 4 frets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's your 3. So I find a G, if I'm in the key of G, and I go up 2 whole steps, and there's a 3. Then I find another G, there's a 3, 3, 3, and there's where the 3 are. Now, there's another place you could view this, is if I was on a G here, a 3 is also diagonally over. So it's 1 string below and 1 fret over. So if I'm on a G, 3rd fret, 6th string, my third interval would be the 5th string, 2nd fret. And it looks like that. So if I find another G, there's a 3. Now, why are there 2? Well, you might not want to jump up to this 3 depending on what you're playing. You might want to go somewhere closer. Might make more sense. So you want to be able to know all the different locations, okay? But there's a 3, there's a 3. Now let's talk about the G string. The G string and the B string screw everything up, okay? Because all of these rules I'm telling you will change by 1. Now here's exactly what I mean. If I am on the 3rd string, going to the 2nd string, everything is plus 1 fret. So I just told you that the 3 is diagonally over. So you would think that's the major third. But the problem here is that from this to here, these strings are tuned differently. It doesn't matter that much on why or all of that, but you just need to memorize it's plus 1. So the 3 is now here. Going from the 3rd string to the 2nd string, the 3rd interval is right underneath. And that's where the 3 is. Now, things only get weird when you're using the 3rd and the 2nd string. If you're using the 1st and the 2nd string, things are normal. If you're using the 4th and the 3rd string, things are normal. It's only when you're using the 3rd and 2nd string that things get weird. All right, but now we go to the 1st and 2nd string. Here's a G, and there's a 3 like normal, diagonally over. Now, here's one more place that you can view the 3. So this is going to work when I'm descending. So if I'm on a G here, a 3 is also here. So if I am on the 10th fret, 5th string, a 3rd interval is going to be 3 frets below and 1 string up. Okay? And there's a 3. But when we get to the 2nd string, remember when we're using the 2nd and 3rd string, things get weird. When the root is on the 3rd string and I'm going to the 2nd, it's plus 1. But if the root is on the 2nd string and I'm going lower, it's minus 1. So the 3 would normally be here. Well, now it's minus 1, so it's right there. All right, and then we get to another G. On the 1st string, it's the same thing, okay? So we've got this, We got this 3, that's the shape 1. Shape 2, where it's diagonal. 3rd to 2nd string, it's right underneath. And then we've got the one where it's descending. All right? So those are 3 different ways that you can view the 3rd interval. Now, I know that that's 3 different ones. You're already like, this is a lot. It takes time to memorize this and go through it. But I'll go through some helpful ways that you can practice this. But those are the 3 ones for the 3rd interval. Now let's talk about the 4th interval. All right, so the 4 is going to be located right below the root. So if I'm in the key of G, the 4 would be right below, right there. Okay, so 4 is right underneath. Then I go to another G, the 4 is right underneath. Then another G, the 4 is right underneath. Go to the G, now I'm on the 3rd and 2nd string. So because the root's on the 3rd string, I'm going to plus 1. So instead of it being right underneath, it's 1 up. Then I go to the G, there's the 4. Now, the second way you can view the 4, descending, is if I'm on a G here, the 4 is going to be up a string and 2 frets down. And remember, this way is down, this way is up, okay? So that's a 4, 4, 4. Now remember, this is now the 2nd to 3rd string. So if I'm starting on the 2nd string, it's minus 1. So there's the 4, and then there's the 4. And those are the shapes for the 4th interval. Now let's go on to the 5th interval. So the 5, or what's referred to as the perfect 5th, the 4th and the 5th are referred to as perfect, so perfect 4th, perfect 5th. Why? Doesn't matter too much right now, but let's go through the perfect 5th. So if I'm on a G, a perfect 5th is going to be right here. This is your power chord. All right, so it's down a string and up 2. So 5th is right there, 5th is right there. It's all the same until we get to the 2nd to 3rd string. It's plus 1. And then we go back to normal. Now you can also do this descending. And descending, it would just be right above the root. So if I'm on a G here, the 5th is going to be right above. G, right above. G, right above. G. Now, because the root is on the 2nd string, everything is minus 1. So instead of being right above, it's 1 behind. And then G, right above. Now for the 6th interval. There's 3 shapes that I like to view for the 6th interval. So the first one is, let's do this one in the key of A. So if I'm in the A, all right, now a 6 is going to be, you're going to go down a string and up 2 whole steps. So if I'm on the 5th fret 6th string for A, the 6th interval is going to be on the 9th fret 5th string. And that shape is always the same. There's the 6. All right, shape looks the same here. Same there. Now I get to A on the 3rd string, it's plus 1. So instead of being here, it's up 1, then. So that's the first one. Now the second way you can view the 6 is it's just down 3 frets from the root. So if my A is here, I go down 3 frets, there's a 6. Then go to another A, there's a 6, there's a 6, there's a 6. Now, we're not going between 2 strings, so that weird rule of the 2nd string to 3rd string doesn't apply here because the intervals are on the same string. So, go down 3 frets, there's the 6, go down 3 frets, there's the 6. Now, the third way that you can look at this is you go skip a string and back 1 fret, and there's a 6. So you see how there's a string in between here, and then I'm not on the same fret, I'm behind 1. So if I'm in the key of A, this would be the 5th fret 6th string is the A. The 6th interval will be on the 4th fret 4th string. And that's what the shape looks like. So I've got a 6 here, a 6 here. All right, and then I go to the A here. Now the 6 here is going to be plus 1 because the 2nd string is a little funny, right? So when we're going to the 2nd string, it's a little odd. So it's plus 1. All right, and then I go to the A here. And it's also going to be the same for the 3rd string. So when you're going to the second or third string, or you're on that, it's going to be +1. So to review that, we got a 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, +1, 6 here, +1. And those are the 3 shapes for the 6. And finally, we get to the 7th interval. Now, there are 2 shapes here for the 7th interval. One of them is if we're in the key of A. The 7 is just 1 fret behind the root. There's a 7. So I go to an A. There's a 7. There's a 7, just right behind the root. Right behind the root. The second one is if you skip a string and you go up 1 fret, that is a 7th ascending. So there's a 7, there's a 7. Now, remember, when you're going to the second string, it's +1. All right, so it's right there, up 2 frets. Now it's the same when I'm on the third string. It's +1. All right, and that is the 7th interval. Now, we've gone through all of the major intervals. You might be wondering, well, what about the minor intervals? Okay, so the minor intervals are just 1 fret below the major. So this means that if you memorize where all of the 3s are, you know where all of the flat 3s are because it's just 1 fret lower. So if a third interval is here, a flat third is going to be here. If a second interval is here, a flat 2 is going to be right there. So if you memorize all of the major intervals, then you immediately know all of the minor. Now, how to practice this? One way to practice this is you just choose an interval and you try to play it on all strings and memorize the shapes. The second way is you could choose to mix them, where I'm going to play the 1, 3s, and 5s on all the strings. And try to memorize that, and you can mix them together. But the key here is to try to memorize where they all are, and then if you get them down, then try to switch the key and make it a little bit harder. You could even put on a metronome and be able to play at a certain BPM. That definitely raises the difficulty. If you would like more training on how to develop a highly trained ear, then I invite you to check out my course called Complete Ear Mastery. This is a full in-depth online ear training course that is built specifically just for guitar players. It goes through every aspect you need as a guitar player to be able to transcribe music, jam with other people better, become a better improviser, everything that a good ear gives you. So I invite you to check that out at eartrainingforguitar.com. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for checking out this video and watching till the end. I hope you got a ton out of it. If you haven't already, like and subscribe so you can see more videos just like this and get this out to others. But I'll see you at the next video.